I want to introduce you to my friend HannahJo, who's going to come up here. She is all things prepper. You can find her primarily on Instagram at Prairie Mountain Homestead, which will be on the screen for everybody who's at home. Follow her there, and she will help you be able to equip your families to be ready for whatever comes as it pertains to food and preparation and all those things. Keep everybody safe. Thank you for your wisdom and for coming this evening, HannahJo.
Thank you. Thank you guys so much for having me and sacrificing your evening to learn a little bit on how to prepare your life, not only for the next 2 weeks, but hopefully this will create a mindset for you to continue preparing for future items to come, future tasks, future anything to come. Just within this year, we have seen genetically modified tomatoes be available to the home gardener, and I am a home gardener, and I don't actually appreciate that. We've seen the new Bill Gates with his new beef and his new chicken. Simultaneously, that is also being fed to our veterans in exchange for their service. And we've seen 28, I believe, poultry factories and processing plants somehow spontaneously combust. And then this morning, I had to add in here my friend from Lazy J Meat down in Utah. He just explained to me that one of his buddies right here in the bottom corner, the bottom right corner, they are now losing their family farm that has been handed down from them since the 1800s. A land grab in Texas is happening now to better do something. I don't know. Inflation.
But for a lot of people, it's not about that. It's about the difference between this and that. And when you look at the difference between this and that, that's 20%.
With inflation. All right, thank you. Well, let's start with this. Prices have gone up, and families and individuals are dealing with the realities of that bread costs more, that gas costs more. And we have to understand what that means. That's about the cost of living going up.
Are concerned with $8 eggs, $5 gas, 7% interest rates, and a house they can't afford with wages not going up as fast as house prices. This inflation thing's a big deal. So in the first 90 days, what's the first things you're going to do on that?
Well, in terms of inflation, you're right. And it's almost inflation over the economy, if you want to really know, because people are getting wiped out like never before. I think it's the highest inflation we've ever had.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but my family's hurting. It's been a rough couple years, just affording groceries, let alone a family vacation, and whether or not we can have gas for my husband to get to work and back. America's other issues, they've been fun. As of 2024, over 10 million encounters have occurred in the U.S. border since President Biden has taken office. Year 2024, has witnessed a significant rise in natural disasters with over 1.7 acres burned this year. I don't know if we really understand the significance with our ranchers and that acreage right there. May 2024 also saw the most devastating tornadoes, and we had 2 serious assassination attempts. So who am I? Hi, everyone. My name is HannahJo. I'm a part of the Lord's Army, the Patriot Party, a learner, defender, whole food creator, and self-reliance seeker. As an ex-vegan, gone homesteader, I now butcher my own meat and try to stay away from broken systems, as you should. I primarily talk about homesteading, and homesteading covers a lot of realms, including food preparation, from meal planning and prepping to get just through the freaking week, to preservation through the entire year, through winter. Gardening on large scales and small scales is what I like to teach, because not everyone has 40 acres. I don't even have 40 acres. And preparedness, which is what we're going to be talking about today. So my main goal for you is to leave with realistic goals and a tangible understanding for you to start preparing for your family's needs. Not my family's needs, your family's needs. Okay, we're going to talk about some serious things here, and I want you to understand that fear will push you, but I need you to use wisdom when you go home to make these necessary arrangements for your family. I'm sorry, not 11 days, 11 days from my next event, but 11 days or a couple days, 16 days away from either seeing a massive transition in power. We are going to see either more inflation, the worst economy continued, or something crazy is going to happen because the world literally just hates this guy. Today, I actually have a free gift for you. This is a QR code if anyone is familiar with using that. You're going to take your phone out and you're going to get a guide, okay? You're going to get my guide that I use personally to prep my family and my pantry. It's 60 pages full of history, important notes, dates, 3-layer system, which we'll go over here shortly, checklist, inventory, storage options, coupon codes, preservation methods, expiration information, because people really don't understand what the difference between an expiration date and a use-by date is, plus my actual foolproof emergency meals off-grid. So go ahead and download that, and we're going to talk just briefly about breaking away from the cultural narratives while you guys download that. When we talk about preparedness, we're not just talking about food, we're not just talking about energy, we're not just talking about those surface level things. We need to understand that we need diversity in information sources. So if you find yourself looking up something to do, it's best for you to get that learning resource in a book. So printing things off, buying books, learning how to break away from consumerism myths, find farmers, your electricians, your plumbers, your butchers, your first aid personnel, get to know them, figure out what you have as value that you can trade with them. Challenge the fear-based messaging, follow external food or external news sources, and stay up to date. I know there's going to be a Q&A at the end, but I did want to give away 2 tickets to my next event. It is the Idaho Homestead Conference, and I'm going to ask who knows the number 1 prep item. If you raise your hands, please. Water. I'm so glad you were paying attention. Come and get me afterwards, and I'll get you 2 tickets. Okay, water. Water is the number 1 preparedness item that everyone takes for granted, okay? You can go 28, 27 days without food. You have 3 days, 3 freaking days before your organs start shutting down. You need water. And everyone's worried about ammo and food, and no one has water. Each year, 829,000 people die from disease directly attributed to unsafe water and just unsafe sanitary. It's ridiculous. And this is not in a hurricane situation. This is everyday use. That's not cool. That's not safe. In your guide here that you guys just downloaded is my equation for getting yourself prepared for water. You're going to take your number of people, multiply that by 1 gallon per day, and that will give you your total family members. Divide that by how long you want. We're going to do either 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 1 year. That's how much water you should have on hand at all times. Okay, water is everything. When we talk about water, I mean, you guys, everybody, I'm assuming, is listening to real news. So you guys know what's really going on in North Carolina right now. Some parts of North Carolina is still out of power. They have no water there sometimes. There's a lot of people. So a life straw is going to be something that you guys want to invest in. If you guys are proactive, please open your Amazon cart, and I'm going to be giving you guys some items that you can add to your Amazon cart. If you're wanting to be proactive, you took the initiative to come here today, you took the initiative to buy the ticket, why don't you take initiative and put these in your Amazon cart? These are very, very simple filters that you can take everywhere. You need to put them in your go bags. They need to be in your vehicle. They need to be in your purse if you're hiking. It doesn't matter. You literally pop off the nipple cap here, pop that off, you stick it in the water, and you suck the water in. It is a great low carbon filter ready for any type of emergency water situation. Now, whether you're in the suburbs or if you have lots of acreage, whatever, if you don't have any other water storage items, a bathtub liner is going to be great for you. You need to add that to your Amazon cart right now. This is a very inexpensive way for you to fill up your bathtub and have water readily available for you when an emergency occurs. The next source of water is going to be your greenfield water filtration system. I have the opportunity of partnering with different companies, and right now I partner with Greenfield because they actually give you a gravity-fed water system that's the cheapest on the market, the best stainless steel for food-grade purposes. Plus, the spigot on here is stainless steel, which you have to upgrade with Berkey and other companies. And then they give you the stand for free as well. So this is just a best for your buck. I'll give you an opportunity to grab that later. And then also for all of you guys who actually see the need for lots of water, Rockwell Water Systems will be the next thing that you're going to want to invest in, especially if you have animals or a larger family. 250 gallons does not seem like a lot of water, or it sounds like a lot of water, but when you put it towards an emergency, you'll be very shocked at how much everyday cleanliness, hygiene, going to the bathroom, you need water. So I want you guys to understand that when you're in a cul-de-sac, your main water supply comes from power. And if you do not have any power, you do not have water. Same goes for anyone who lives outside those really cool older towns that have the water towers. Those are only gravity fed for so long. And once that runs out, you're out of luck. So you need to take advantage of preparing your water before an emergency strikes. For the rural people like myself, you still, if you have a well, a shared well, a personal well, doesn't matter, you still will not have water if you do not have power. So something like this it's just necessity. Here is again, I like QR codes because it's simple. You can take a picture, send it to your husband, wife, whatever, friend, mother, and then you can come back to it later because I have to feed you guys so much information right now. So here's your Greenfield. It's anywhere from $167 investment to $500 if you guys want the large one. Use code PMH10 to save some money. Or if you want to just not, you can pay full price, whatever. Okay, the Rockwell water station, this is mine. This is $250 here, or excuse me, 250 gallons here. But this is really great. They modified this really well. This is a company out of Utah. They're definitely in the preparedness mindset. They did really great when doing this. So they have anywhere from $249 to $1,200 of an investment. They're really cool. They have tons of different sizes. You can chuck them in the back of the vehicles. They stack on top of each other. They did great with their stuff. Okay, I'm pretty healthy. I don't know about you guys. I really do like to stay as health conscious as possible. But when it comes to water safety, you have to put some bleach in your water, okay? So when you have stagnant water that's not running, it's not being filtered by anything natural, you will have fungus and mildew that grows. And just like the previous slide I shared with you, that is part of the equation when it comes to people not living through waterborne illnesses. Waterborne illnesses typically result in vomiting and diarrhea. You're dead in 3 days, okay? So you need to get some portable drops. You can do those. That's great. Some people don't like the ingredients. I don't really like the ingredients with Clorox either, but that's why you have a filtration system. Okay. The next one, it's going to be super fun while everyone is eating, is we're going to talk about how to poop off grid, because a lot of people do not understand how to tangibly do this. When we're talking about off grid, issues, off-grid, anything, catastrophes. There have been a lot of people in North Carolina, Northern Florida, Georgia, that have literally been pooping in the streets because they were not taught how to poop with a sanitation mindset. And I think it's important. What we're dealing with is trying to prepare for food and water. Well, guess what? Everything that comes in is going to have to go out eventually. If you don't know how to prepare yourself for that, you're going to find yourself with rodents, infestations. You're going to find yourself with the worst smells you've ever been exposed to. It's just not going to be pretty. So I tend, because we camp and we're a little, off-grid out there in the boonies, a bucket does just great, okay? You don't need to go out and buy a $300 or $3,000 composting toilet because of the emergency that might happen. But these are all things, again, for all of you guys that are pulling out your Amazon, this right here, you're gonna wanna put these in your cart. Now, the first one up here is the portable lid. These fit on any 5-gallon bucket. You sit your tushy on there, you can go number 1, number 2, you're good, okay? Next one is the liners or bags. Now, if you like to be health conscious, you probably don't want to be breathing in these just disgusting smells. But for some of you that are a little bit weaker when it comes to roughing it, buy yourself a lavender scented bag, okay? Or you can just get trash bags. Trash bags work just fine. Again, for the sensitive people, the cocoa discs work great. They're just freaking expensive. And I'm sorry, but I got other stuff to spend my money on. So just go to Tractor Supply if you support them, or D&B and grab pine shavings. It's pretty good. It works great. We're going to talk about 2 things though real quick. Number 1 and number 2. When you urinate, the ammonia is worse than the poop, the feces, okay? I'm going to really try to get through this because I know some of y'all are eating. But when you go pee, you're going to have a bucket for pee. And then when you go poop, you're going to have a bucket for poop. Your pine shavings are going to go with your feces, okay? Nothing is going to go in with your urine. Your urine is going to be chucked out on greens, trees, bushes, anything like that. Your poop is going to be dug in a hole. Do not be the asshole that goes and puts their poop and pee in one frickin' bucket and then chucks it outside next to their neighbor's lawn. Not gonna be cool during an emergency situation, okay? You're gonna attract everything. Raccoons, badgers, I don't know what you guys have around here, but that's what I've got, and it's not gonna be something I want near my chickens or my dogs or the cat or anything, okay? All right. Moving on, we're gonna go, for those of you that downloaded, we're gonna go flip over to the 3-layer pantry or the 3-layer system.
HannahJo, I'm just going to remind everybody, don't panic about taking photos of all these screens. This presentation will be online and you can look at it 10 times or 100 times after the fact.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, the 3-layer system is going to be something that we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about food just because for the normal emergency situation, our minds typically go towards water and food. And now you know how to go to the bathroom. So water and food, and we're going to talk about food. So your first layer, when it comes to preparedness, we have 3 layers. You have your first layer, your middle layer, and your third layer. Don't ask me why it's your second layer. I didn't make it up. I'm just following it. So your first layer is going to be your kitchen cabinets, anything snacks-wise you have in your house or your kitchen, your snacks, your nuts and seeds, and your pasta. Your middle layer is what we're going to add into longer storage. You're going to create a working pantry, and this is going to be all designed in here. I'm just giving you guys some cliff notes so when you go home, you know how to revert back to this. And your third layer, your long-term storage. That's where we're going to have 5-gallon buckets and gamma lids available that I can show you here in a hot second. And that's where you're going to be putting in your emergency foods. Preparedness and a homesteading lifestyle comes with a mindset. And you want that mindset to give you kind of the push to get started on how to grow some of your own food, learn how to bake bread. For the life of me, I still can't do that. But, you can make falafels or tortillas or something. But that's just kind of where we want to start. And so your middle layer is going to be food items in bulk and then separating your emergency foods from your middle layer. And that's just really important to understand and to know. Okay, real quick. After this, we're going to flip over to your food supply checklist. It's going to be part 4 in your new guide. And your food supply checklists are going to be things that look like this. Everyone thinks that when they go and get prepared, they're just going to go to Costco, spend about $500. You're going to get a bunch of canned goods. You're going to get flour. You're going to get a bunch of rice. You're going to get beans, some frozen goodies to put in your freezers. But no one really knows how long those will actually last you. These are your food calculators I've created for you so that you can itemize the items that you have and understand the longevity of what you have. And that will give you peace of mind because it gives me peace of mind, and that's just what I want to share with you. All right, foods, fats, and oils is going to be your next item. I think, hold on a second right here. The basic staples we'll go over, and I just want to show everyone in the crowd. I have these here as well. So these right here, your grains, will be partnered with your basic staples here. So the basic staples and fundamentals of a prepping pantry are going to be fats, baking, grains, salt, vinegar, and sugar. Those will pretty much make you any type of food you want, that you desire in an off-grid situation. And then anything that you have canned on the shelf, you can just manipulate and make into your own meal. So fats, if you're vegetarian, vegan, olive oil and coconut oil are going to be your best ones. For those of you that eat and consume animal products, ghee, lard, and tallow are going to be your best friend. They're going to season your cast iron so you can cook outside, and they're going to be able to do anything in your kitchen. Butter, if you do not have a refrigerator, will go bad. So next is going to be baking. So bulk flours, powders, soda, yeast, and cocoa. Those will get you a little cocoa. You can make some hot cocoa or add some chocolate to your bread, whatever you want. Grains are going to be easy for you to stock up on, and they're going to be cost effective. So we have rice, oats, quinoa, wheat, cereal, anything like that. Salt. You cannot do anything, bake anything, cook anything, and do anything without salt. Salt is one of those that just a lot of people underestimate. Now, you can see on this bucket, I buy mine from Redmond's, and I like the fine salt, the kosher salt, and the coarse salt because they all have a different use. So you can get whatever salt you want. Vinegars are going to be great for cleaning agents along with cooking. You can use vinegar to make a, sourdough bread if you want to. And then sugars, you don't have, people are out there are just staying away from sugar. Your sugar can come from honey, maple syrup, coconut sugar, molasses, granulated sugar, stuff like that. Okay. Now, after you go through, you're going to have your supply checklists, and then your grains are going to be right here. This is going to make it easy for you to itemize everything that you have. And then at the bottom of those pages, you're going to have the minimum amount that you need per person per month. And that's going to help you with your calculators. So I hope you guys enjoy that. That's my gift from my pantry to yours. And if you guys have any questions afterwards, you can totally come up and ask me. Okay. Next, we have action steps on moving forward away from the broken system. So we need to identify what systems are actually broken. I think a lot of us already know this. So we have our financial, our healthcare, the food supply, energy, etc. We need to learn new skills. We need to enhance our personal belongings for our family and preparedness. So creating emergency plans, we're going to talk about that. And then health self-sufficiency. So learn about alternative health medicine. I would love to share more about that with you guys, but there are so many people who have underlying health issues that herbalism is going to be something that you guys need to talk to a professional about. Okay, your 5 steps to your plan on where we're going to get started now with the next couple slides is you have water, number 1, food and water, your defense, personal and home, your medical, your basic first aid and emergency medications. We have alternative energies that we're going to talk about. And then obviously 5 is important, but I just threw it in there, is to learn how to cook with fire and propane. It's very different. And when you're finding yourself in a situation and your family is hungry, it is genuinely nice to know how to cook the same meals on the propane burner or over your camp stove in the backyard or whatever to feed your family. It's very different. I mean, if anybody's out camping, if you guys have camped before, cooking food is just very different than what you're doing in the kitchen. So your main goal is to do this step in a couple different ways. So you're going to go 3 days when you get home, you and your husband, wife, whatever, your family, you're going to get together and you're going to talk about, let's get 3 days worth of food and water, a defense plan, and medical, okay, and alternative energy. Because if you have food and water stored and you don't have any propane or gas, you can't really do much with the food. So a lot of people go, I want to get to that 1 year mark of all this food and water, but now you don't know how to cook without it, and you don't even have the supplies to do so. So first, please do your 3 days, 1 through 5, then do your 3 weeks, 1 through 4, 3 months, 1 through 4, and then a year, 1 through 4. And you'll find that that's going to be easily obtainable for you and your partner moving forward with your preparedness plan. All right, so just like I talked, we need some gas. and propane before. Gas will typically last around 3 to 6 months. You need to understand that you can't just hoard things and expect them to be there when you need it, okay? Sometimes things grow in gas and they start to separate. It needs to be mixed around. It's just weird. So when you have gas stored up, you need to label that and have it on a rotation. Not with propane though. Propane just stores indefinitely, so it's really great. Also, for everyone who brought out their Amazon cart, go ahead and add these to your cart, and then you guys can talk about it later whether this will be a good investment for you. If you get the new gas things, they have these funky, weird hose things that you have to buy separate. I didn't know that. So we have a bunch of gas filled up and we can't get it out of the damn can. So those might be a nice investment. Next, we have this really cool thing that I would like to show you. It's called Überleben. It is a really fun thing. So bushcrafting actually got my husband and I into preparedness. And I just wanted to give a quick demonstration because this little jig here will give you the ability to cook on, and that's an 18-inch cast iron right there. That's a large cast iron, and I made a full 3-course meal out while my husband and daughter were fishing. And so this is what they look like. They're very thin metal. I'm sure I have the specs there. I couldn't memorize all that, but this is really cool. You can see ours is very used because we use it. It goes together like this, okay? And then you can set your cast iron on it. And Überleben actually has the just a whole range of really cool stuff. This is a strike plate. I'm not going to do it in here, but you rub that so quick together, it lights on fire, and you start your wick here. You put just a little kindling, which I might add. I cooked that meal on twigs. We did not have fire. We did have fire, duh. We did not have huge amounts of wood cut up and prepped for us to go. We chopped down branches, and I cooked tons of food on that thing. That was really fun. So this might be something that you guys want to invest in. This is also going to be great for the husbands for Bugout Bags, which we will talk about soon. And then this is the middle grate that you put in the middle here, and then you put your kindling in there. It's a really great company. I encourage you to get some stuff from them. It's really fun. Okay, solar generators versus gas generators. We're going to talk about it because a lot of people are like, we need to get solar generators. And I'm like, are you going to have enough sun to do that? Okay, so solar generators versus gas power generators. Gas are going to be loud. Okay, do you want to tell everyone that you have energy? Do you want it to be quiet? Do you have enough sun? Is it going to be during the summer months? If not, you probably want one of these. Generators are going to be one of those things that it's just going to be pro and con depending on what you're getting. It is what it is. Okay. When it comes to prepping, I want to speak to this for just a hot minute. You typically get 2 preppers, and sometimes you find that within your family. We have Tactical Tim over here that's ready for World War II. He's got his guns, his ammo, and he even has his face paint. And you have Worried Wanda, his wife, who just is pregnant, about ready to pop, and she's trying to freak out, thinking that she can't even cook that oatmeal over the stove yet. She keeps burning it every time they try. How is she going to have a home birth? All of these things. This is a lot to understand and to get around. And I always find myself with people who are either going, we need to just get the tanks and the cool truck. Let's upgrade the Jeep. And then we have moms over here going, I don't know why my husband bought the $700 scope. I can think of all the food that I can buy with the $750. So, there's that. Yeah, I would say clap for that. The next thing we're going to talk about is any type of home defense, okay? This is a $36 investment, and I'd like to show you what this is. This is called a striker plate. This is new to me. I just invested in this for every single door in our house. And these are the screws that you are screwing this thing into your doors. You can see here on my hand photo right there, those were the screws that were in my initial builder grade strike plate versus what I have here. And if you think about it, men, come on, honestly, you guys are going to be the one shooting the intruder, okay? Be realistic. Think of how much time you just gained to regain consciousness, your, cognitive things. You're waking up from the middle of the night. Your wife's like, someone's at the door. I don't know what's going on. The dog is barking. The kids are crying now because they just woke up. And you have that much more time to get to your firearm and address the situation. A strike plate can buy you time and also buy you the ability to not react and injure someone or put yourself in jail quicker. So these are really important. I always talk about these. It's a new company from Texas. They go out of their way, veteran, something with veterans, so that's really fun. But you can see here the bottom door, that's my door. And I broke that down because I locked myself out with my daughter while I was feeding our almost 100 animals, and it was in the middle of a heat wave, 110 degrees for about 3 weeks. I was beet red, my daughter was beet red, and I was like, this ain't happening. My neighbors are not home, okay? They're all on frickin' vacation. I can't afford that. So I kicked down my door, and I realized if I can do it, someone else can easily than me. I was pretty impressed by my adrenaline. That was really fun, but it gave me an idea that was not great, and that was someone else can break into my house. So I'm really happy that all of my doors have that now. And this is where you can get it. Again, I like the QR codes. Scan yours now and upgrade your home defense. Also, it's really interesting to know, I like to do research. Even though you may have windows by your front door, the bad guys are kind of stupid. They still try to kick down the front door. Glass is more noisy than kicking down the door. You would think, even though this guy before us was making a whole heck of noise. And by the way, that thing was 58 pounds, that door toggle. That was a lot of energy. You could see he was getting a little pissed off. And he is actually a retired Navy SEAL. So it's not like he's inadequate of doing that, but it was pretty cool to watch. Okay, guns and more ammo. When we talk about guns, we have to be really mindful and understand our legal responsibilities. Idaho is a really great state, but for those of you that want to carry, I really encourage you for home defense, you guys need to get USCCA, okay? Gun owners, USCCA, lots of education. They have situational awareness, defense mindset training. Their goal is to stop crime, save lives, self-defense, and incidents. Also, if you do end up having to shoot and disarm or injure or kill an intruder, this will save you a lot of legal fees, and this will also save you time in jail so you can return to your family. So it's something that you guys should really look into if you are already not a member. Next, if you feel totally inadequate with firearm safety, but you need to get something, the Burnal Launcher, it's a really cool, fun thing. Glenn Beck talks about it all the time. I'm sure you've heard it if you listen to him. Burnal Launcher is really awesome. So you need no background checks, legal in all 50 states. Some people say that they fly with these, but I don't know if that's true. So look that up on your own time. You all look like fully grown adults here. So this ships directly to your door, and it's pretty cool. You can get even Burnal Launchers with a larger ammo, so it's just kind of fun for the guys to have too. Okay, fire safety. is super important to me because I almost burned down our house with a burrito in a microwave once. And ever since then, I have been extremely weirded out by fire safety. Fire safety is something that you guys need to understand. And I will say this, if you guys are a little worried and looking up stuff is just giving you just too much anxiety, you can ask the fire department to come to your house. That's what they're there for. And you can take advantage of them. You can say, hi, I would really love for you to come to my house and assess my my entire house. What would be your exit plan? I have these kids in these rooms, and I have this is where we homeschool. I don't know, whatever. They'll come to your house, very nice. That some of them even take off their shoes. They're really nice. They come in and they assess your house, and they tell you this is what you need in this room, and this is what you need to do here. And you guys, fire hydrants, they have different colors for different types of fires, and it drives me nuts when I see moms just go to the Costco or the Home Depot and they pick up fire extinguishers, and I'm like, that's not for your kitchen. It is not for your kitchen. But if all else fails, there's also Prepared Hero. This was designed by a fire chief, I believe, and he came up with this. This is a blanket that you literally pull in an emergency. I'm not doing it here because I don't want to fold it back up. This goes literally right next to my stove. It's also in the garage, anything like that. So where there is an emergency fire, you just pull the blanket, you put it over the fire, and you don't have to worry about remodeling after you use your fire hydrant. Okay, we cannot disregard the kids, the babies, and the pregnancies. So I'm going to talk about a couple of you guys who are nursing, pregnant, know someone who's pregnant, or whatever. Okay. When you have an off-grid situation, I cannot stress enough that you will not receive medical attention, like calling 911 and saying, hey, my tree came down during the hurricane. Can you send help? I have friends that have still not received help. And I have friends that have told me that it took them 10 or 11 hours, to receive that. So with a lot of kids, you have choking issues, especially with off-grid stuff. I don't know why that happens, but it does. De-chokers are available now to us, and these have saved countless lives. I encourage you, if you have any children in your home, or if you're alone, to buy one of these, because you can use this on yourself if you are choking and you are home alone. These need to be in your vehicles. You never know when you're going to be a first responder. And the chilling, absolutely cry-worthy videos that they have on their website is the guy who was at a Denny's, and old single vet. He didn't really need these, but he had them, and he saved a little girl from choking because he had this in his vehicle. And mom didn't know what the hell to do when her kid was choking. This is also a tool. This is not always going to be something that's going to save a life, but you need to buy it and use it and have it available and know how to use it. Now, there are two on the market, which is Life Vac and De-choker. This is the De-choker. They're both really great. They both have saved lots of lives. The De-choker, though, has a tongue suppressor. And anyone that has done anything with kids, their tongues go crazy when they don't want to do things. What's in your mouth? There's a tongue there. It's just whatever. The tongue suppressors are really nice. Same for adults. Bodies do weird things when they're under stress. Okay, the birth kit. I have a birth kit, and I will give you a slide that you guys can purchase that. This will have things for babies when emergencies arise. Yours will kind of come in this cool box. That's not me. Her name is Jessica, the owner of the company. But you guys, anyone who's nursing or pregnant, you guys need to just purchase something like this. This will give you all the tools that you need, the list right here, for anybody who is pregnant, nursing, or is about to give birth. For the men, we're going to talk about men here for a hot minute. Men, you guys have the incredible responsibility of providing a stable household, okay? You're the rock of the house. These guys are awesome. Follow them. Listen to their podcast. If you guys want to be more prepared mentally, physically, spiritually, these guys right here will help you be prepared in ways that it's just really awesome. These guys, Nick is a friend of mine on Instagram, and he's just really cool. Okay, we're going to talk about the Bugout Bags for a minute. I'm assuming the majority of you guys live in the area, which means you guys are in Boise-ish, Nampa, Caldwell, Kuna, whatever the heck. Eagle. I apologize. Do you have an alternate route to get home? And do you know how that route is on foot? And do you know how long that route will be before you get home? Does your wife understand how long it will take you to get home before she actually starts to worry and panic? An EMP has been threatened to America multiple times, and that is going to be something that we may see in the foreseeable future, which means your vehicle will not turn on, okay? It doesn't matter if there's gas, whatever, it's just not going to turn on. So you need to have a backpack that has the right amount of items for you to get to your house. Do you need an extra pair of shoes? Do you need multiple pairs of socks? And this will actually change through the seasons. Now, men have the amazing testosterone of a body that they can actually physically do lots of workout and walking, having, anxiety, things like that on just water and jerky. So wives, women, significant others, you can just pack them water and jerky and they will return home safely to you, okay? They really will. They can do a lot on meat and water. Communication is next. Ham radios are really great. They're a bit tricky. So really cool at the Costco or Cabela's. They actually have these satellite long range walkie-talkies. Super fun. You just pick your frickin' channel and you say, hi, where are you? Okay, great, cool. Call me later. Those communications are going to be necessary. One thing that you do need to learn and grab, like maybe on your way home tonight, if you guys want to be really proactive, is a freaking map. A map. Do you know the route to get home in 5 different ways? There are a lot of really cool prepping YouTubers out there that will teach you how to categorize your map and figure those things out in the grid down situation or an EMP strike. And the majority of them will tell you parks and railroads is what you're going to want to walk on. For all the caffeine addicted people out there, this is a real thing. When you are off grid or when you have an EMP strike or when I don't know who's going to take office, but if someone bad takes office or if someone good takes office and there's civil unrest and we do not have power, do you know how to make coffee? Because I can tell you what, if you're out trying to get things from your neighbors or if you're out trying to grab your kids and you're doing it with a caffeine withdrawal headache, y'all are not going to have a nice time. So I need you to find an instant coffee. I need you to find an instant creamer. And again, we're going to go back to that water that we need to prep for, and you need to learn how to cook it, okay? It's really easy. You can start with boiling water. For those of you that actually want to be proactive and get a prepped pantry started and ready to go, Azure Standard is your way. That is just, it's so great. It's awesome. You go, you pick out your food, if that's what you guys like to do. You drive to a drop location and you take it home. It's great. I cannot say anything bad about Azure. It's a great company to get. They even give you it's like a Kohl's Cash, but for groceries. It's kind of nice. Okay, the Jace Case. We're going to talk about some medical stuff here. The Jace Case is actually something that you guys might want to invest in and see kind of just how it addresses for your house. I do have a coupon code right here with the QR code. The Jace Case is going to be your antibiotics. The number 2 item, I believe, in the North Carolina crises that's going on right now, that's still going on, even though the news isn't, sharing anything about it, but people are still struggling out there, is the CO2 for the elderly that don't have oxygen and their medications. So they have sent in mules and flight choppers to just drop off normal medications. So if you are anyone who has mental health medications, diabetes, blood sugar, things like that, or if you're just worried the fact that you might actually cut yourself and because you are in an emergency situation, you might not have adequate water to wash out your wound, you may want to invest in something like this. Get one for each of your people. And it's seriously such a great peace of mind. Okay, Cultivate self-reliance and bring resources directly to your home. This is where we're going to start. So I need you guys to start a garden. I need you guys to do that. Whether you have a large backyard or an apartment balcony, get something growing, learn how to get it done. Radishes, turnips, carrots, a small cherry tomato plant, some herbs, figure it out, start to grow it. Depend on just to get something growing so you're dependent on the grocery stores less. Okay, you can use raised beds, container gardening. You can do indoor gardening. There's these really cool like hydroponic things. However, you do need electricity, so kind of balance that back and forth. Stockpile essentials. I've been saying this. So build up to your 3 to 6 month plan. And then don't forget medical supplies like I just shared. Okay, the green stock right here is going to be something that you're going to want to invest in if you really would like to grow. I wasn't going to bring the whole damn tower for you guys, so I'm just going to bring this thing right here. Whoops. This is a green stock. And you fill your bag of soil. You get your bag of soil and you place it in here. And this is just one tower. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sockets, so 6 items that you can grow. And these towers are anywhere from 6 to 7 high. So if you're really quick math, maybe shout out the number that we can actually grow as many plants in here. You will have another spindle that will go on top here, and it will catch your water that you put here, and you water from the top, and all your plants are growing. As you can see, I just harvested this basket here, and I'm planting seeds in the other one. It is very easy to grow food in a system like this, and you can place a lot of these on an apartment balcony. So there's no excuses. You just need to get your hands on the soil and get some stuff going. Again, another QR code because I like to save y'all money, but again, you can just pay full price if you want to. Okay, for those of you that have a little bit of space outside and you want to get your own protein, I cannot stress enough quail and rabbits. Quail is a good 2-month turnaround for meat in your freezer, super quick. And rabbits is about 6 weeks for a full rabbit to put in your freezer. Rabbits eat hay, which is great because you're not dealing with grain or feed. Quail will take a grain feed though. But this is something that you can do. I know they're both really, really cute. But this is something that you can do in a smaller backyard, a suburban area that you can start developing food for your family. Okay. Yeah. All right. How do you start to apply this preparedness mindset to your life? Hopefully when you leave here today, sometime this week, you will have a family meeting. You will sit down and clearly explain the goals in your family meeting. If you guys have kids, teenagers, or whatever, involve every family member. It really does work. I know moms, we really like to control every freaking thing, but it's really awesome to just give something to your husband and walk away, and then give something to your kid and walk away, and see they actually might have some good ideas on how to prep for your family. And then review the risks in the scenarios. So like when we were talking about fire drills, let's say something crazy happens, it's off grid, the world's gone to hell in a handbasket, and your house is just caught on fire. How are you going to be addressing that situation? Talking through these things will help an emergency situation go by way smooth instead of a really hectic tragedy. Itemized lists, that's what I gave you here for. Hopefully you guys are using it. This is a complete huge guide that will give you all the lists that you need and structure for your food and water preparedness. And then taking action as a family, assign responsibilities, designate things, to those people, and then practice your drills. Let's have an off-grid night. We're not using the dishwasher. We're going to turn off our lights. We're going to use candles. We're going to play games. Hey, get some family connection. It'll be great. And then men, you guys have a huge responsibility, especially when it comes to firearms, to address the safety within your household. So if you are not taking your wife to the range at least once a month, you are dropping the ball in securing your family's safety. I need you guys to step up, and I need you guys, your wives need you to make that initiative so that she feels comfortable around a firearm. She feels comfortable around a situation. The kids feel comfortable. Okay, the tickets that I gave away earlier, this is the next conference that I'll be speaking at. You can get some tickets here if you want to. If you guys have already made the investment, you made the time investment, you made the money investment today, this is where you're gonna go. There's gonna be a speech here about how to raise meat rabbits. So you're gonna get that. Sourdough, how to ferment things. You got a whole bunch of stuff in your fridge, your power goes out. How are you preserving it? Because it's gonna just go to waste. Those are kind of things that you need to learn how to do. So this is the Idaho Homestead Conference, November 2nd, something like that. It's the first Saturday in November. And then also sign up for classes. I'll have my email after this, and we will do chicken butchering, chicken keeping 101, DIY feed fermentation, canning basics, meal planning and prepping, long-term storage, things like that, and then seed starting, succession sowing, and then harvest preservation. So if you're interested in any of those, you email me. When I have enough people, we create a class. Where to find me next is right here, the QR code. If you guys want to snap that, let me know when y'all are done, and I'll go to that last slide. And then just like Mark said at the beginning, we can prep all that we want. We can get a lot of water, we can get a lot of food, we can get a lot of energy resources, but we have to put our faith in Christ. And so John 3:16, he gave his only son for us. So whatever is going on crazy in this world, we can do our due diligence and prep for our families like we're supposed to, but we have to be spiritually ready. We have to be in the mindset. Thank you guys so much for your time.
Thank you, HannahJo. Big round of applause. Appreciate you being here.
I wanted to know, with that filtration system, can you pour lake or river water in there, and will that take care of viruses and parasites and bacteria?
You can stick it in the top of this. This is going to filter out the majority of the parasites, the antibiotics, and the hormones that are in our water. Now, this system here, I will say, thank you for your question. That was a really great question. I will say this filtration system here is compatible with Berkey and For Patriots filters as well. That's why I really like to partner with them and promote them, because not only do you have a stainless steel chamber, which is great for food, but you can, when they are on sale, you can purchase them from For Patriots, Berkey, or even them. The filters will still be the same. So you can save on here, purchase from them, and then buy whatever filters that you would like to work with. How it works is you basically are pouring everything into the top chamber. You're going to wait. It's going to gravity feed, and it's going to suck all the water through those carbon filters. And then you'll have the spigot at the bottom where you'll have clean drinking water. Thank you.
Do you want to add something to kill viruses like those tablets that you showed, or the liquid?
So the if we want to kill anything, bleach will do it. I know it sucks to put bleach into your water. I thank you so much for asking this question, because a lot of people think they're going to boil the water and that's going to sanitize the water. Basically, it doesn't. And actually, in some illnesses, waterborne illnesses, it actually enhances the microbes and grows them quicker. So you really want to look at your situation. If I were in suburbia, I would definitely have a Rockwell water system. I would fill that up with my garden hose and take the fluoride bite, and then I will filter all of that water through this Greenfield water filter system. That's what I would do. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your great presentation. Question is, if you look back in the Old West, you had villages that had specialists like a blacksmith and pantry and general store. Mm-hmm. Would you suggest that type of arrangement amongst us for longer term survival?
Yeah. Yes. So the question was, creating a community, basically. Yes, I think in my guide here in the beginning, I actually talk about the history of a pantry, and it's very interesting how they manipulated and started taking away a lot of our rights when it came to food, and that basically deconstructed civilization. We were less dependent on our neighbors for bartering and trading, I would absolutely encourage you to do that. I have friends that are hunters. I have a good friend of mine. Her husband is an electrician. I have a good friend who is a plumber. We've got good friends who have meat. Those are things that you need to do. And then you need to figure out what resource that you have that you can give to your neighbor. Because when it comes to preparedness, the whole I'll just go to their house mindset is just not going to cut it. It's just not. Unless you're coming with Bitcoin and gold and silver, y'all are not welcome at my house. Sorry, I'm taking my time. And my time, this is time consuming to preserve a year's worth of food for my family. You abso-freaking-lutely want to find something that you have and something that someone else doesn't. And honestly, this is what fellowship is supposed to be about. This is what serving our neighbors are going to be about. I may have a car kit that's full of things that my husband will never need. But I know he's going to get home safe. And I know that if he's in an accident or if there's an accident he comes up on, he can adequately be the first responder and be Christ-like to someone else. So being prepared is not necessarily going to be a selfish thing, but it's going to be something that you can literally give to someone else and make their day. You know, if someone's changing their tire and you have an extra jerky stick and water. Obviously, if you're a woman and you're driving alone with your kids, just drive. But if you're a man or if your husband's with you, pull over and say, hey, I don't know how to change a tire, but I can give you some water and a jerky. You know how big they're going to smile at you and say, hey, thanks. We don't do that anymore. We don't know our neighbors. We don't know the people who are struggling. We don't know the people who could benefit our lives if we just try to benefit theirs first. Thank you.
I actually have 2 questions.
Yes.
One about like stop bleed classes or trauma classes. Do you have any recommendations for those?
Yes. So stop the bleed is something you're awesome, really great. I'm so sorry I did a disservice to you guys. I talked about gun safety and I did not add in a tourniquet, and I apologize about that. If you carry a firearm, you have to carry a tourniquet. Not only is it going to save you if there is actually an issue like that, like, hey, I shot him, but I also tried to save his life. So you need to have a tourniquet. Not only that, but tourniquets and stop the bleed classes are for anything. Hey, my husband nicked an artery while trying to cut down the tree. I slipped and fell on a nail and I'm bleeding. Those are things that you actually need to do. I would encourage you to look around. I am personally looking for some. Does anyone know anyone who does a stop the bleed class? Yes, sir? Okay, St. Al's. Okay, great. So St. Al's, probably you're going to want to go home and talk with some friends. Are you interested? I'm interested in doing a stop the bleed class. So we'll get together and have a class for sure. What was the second question?
How do you feel about rainwater?
Great question. Rainwater. You cannot collect rainwater if you have shingles. The amount of chemicals that are in your shingles, y'all, is disgusting. You will give yourself a huge toxic overload. I'm talking women, your thyroids are going to go through the roof. Men, you're going to have diarrhea. It's awful. You have to attribute rainwater. Grab a shed, put a metal roof on it, and then collect the rainwater. Put buckets outside, collect the rainwater. You are going to treat that rainwater the same as you would treat the water in a big Rockwell tank, okay? Like I shared before, you're gonna still put the bleach in there because again, I would rather drink a 0.00000% of bleach through my filter than I would rather die of diarrhea. I just, you gotta play it safe. There's always gonna be a good, better, best, and you have to figure out which one works with your situation. Thank you.
My question regards the Bugout bag. There's a lot of different takes on what it is and what to put in it. So my question kind of twofold is, what are some of your favorite things for a Bugout bag? Mm-hmm. What kind of timeline are you looking at for that bag? And then with regards to where we're going to go or how that's going to work, do you have any tips or ideas on what that really looks like? Are you going to your readout? Do you live at your readout? where would you put most of your emphasis on how that works with networking with other preppers, stuff like that?
That was great. I appreciate your question. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for just being here, sacrificing your evening to hang out with me. I love questions because we get to do this. It's so awesome. Okay. Bugout bags. I really tried to get it in here, but I just was really trying. Maybe Mark will have me back again and we'll create a bugout bag together. I don't know. That would be really awesome. That sounds pretty cool. Bugout bags are going to be, so one thing that you really need to do is you need to pick a really great, adequate backpack. I know a lot of people want to save money, and that's great, but you need something that's going to sit along your backside and have thick straps. If you have skinny straps, that's going to dig in, you're going to be doing this, and at the end of something walk with adrenaline, your body is going to be hurting. It is a lot. I would actually encourage you to go on walks with your backpack and just kind of see how it feels and fits around. Bugout bags are different. So my husband's looks a little odd. He travels 80 miles back and forth to go to work each day because we live so far out. So his bugout bag is actually in a tote, and it's in the vehicle. And he's got jerky, water, medications. He has socks, an extra pair of shoes. Oh, he has the Überleben, okay, in case he needs to cook something. I actually have a freeze dryer, and I create lots of freeze-dried meals. So I love to freeze dry oatmeal, pasta. It's kind of like this weird like hamburger helper thing, but it's from a cow I actually know was harvested correctly. But it's just basically a hamburger helper freeze-dried. All he has to do is pour water. So, and then that little kettle right there on that table, you put that on your Überleben, you heat up your hot water, and you put it in your freeze-dried stuff. Other than that, gloves, hats, the hand warmers, those ones you shake up real quick and then they get warm. You can put those in your pockets, an extra jacket. Those are things that he has. Oh, and then just normal car necessities. So like your jumper cables, your flares, things that you can put around, those cool things that kids like to play around with. What are they called? Those things. Thank you. Yes, glow sticks. Yeah, so glow sticks, and then that way he can just kind of walk if he needs to on the side of the road and not get hit by a car, or if he needs to be not seen, then he won't wear those at all. And then where your main location is. Yeah, so for my husband, it's going to take him anywhere from 2 to 4 days to return back to me. And I know that at my 4-day, because it's going to take, that's almost 80 miles, 40 something, I think, the one way, but it's 80 miles both ways. If an EMP happens, he's walking 48 miles to return back to me. And I know his 3 routes. Okay. This is why I said maps earlier. And this is why I said wives or whoever's going to be predominantly staying at the house. And welcoming back the one that's traveling is you need to know the routes in case you have to meet them halfway. This is going to be my route number 1. If I'm not here and you cannot find me, this is my route number 2. Then this is the route number 3. Those are things that need to be shared and communicated with. My bug out is my farm. It's my homestead. However, we've seen with North Carolina that a lot of those people, that was their bug out location, and they were completely devastated. So what are some things that you're going to be taking and where are you going? It's up to every family. But yeah, your bug out bag is very essential. And I think especially just here within this area, I mean, we're traveling, the traffic is one thing because we're getting a lot of population growth here. But a lot of you, I can genuinely say the majority of the people who I talk to do not know an alternate route to get home. And when they're walking it, they don't know because you're not traveling fast enough to go, hey, here's Franklin, there's Overland, or wherever you're going. You guys don't, it's very hard to understand where you are when you're walking so slow, when we're constantly under the impression of always moving 35, 80 miles an hour. So that is something that is so serious and so crucial just to get that husband home or that wife home or both of you home, to have that understanding. And then yes, a bug out bag is just, it's just important to have.
All right, we have several questions, which is awesome. So here's one that was texted in. It says, what should we do when friends and family who are mainstream don't believe anything is going to actually come our way that's negative, like civil unrest, EMP, or whatever? Do we continue to bug them and help where you can with them, or do we just cut the cord and deal with our family and say, hey, I led the horse to water?
Yeah, that's where Worried Wanda comes in, okay? Because Worried Wanda is going to be constantly worrying about the external family. This is really hard. As a Christian, that's where I filter. That's how I see my filter is through my Christianity, through my faith. And so I would say pray for them. Pray for them to maybe get 3 weeks or 3 days worth of food and water. I feel like there is a huge deception going on right now, and a lot of people have just not woken up. It sounds like that's part of your family, and I apologize for that. There's going to be people who just would rather buy the shoes, would rather buy the grocery or the something else instead of the extra groceries. There's always going to be those people. And it's hard. We don't also want to live in a mindset of, I have to be prepared. I have to get this. We can't get this many school supplies because we have to get extra of this. You have to find a balance. You can't straddle that line. You have to find a nice balance of being prepared and then figuring out what your actual necessities are. I would pray for the family, and I would, if you could financially, purchase some extra things for them. I like to spend money on really good quality food. If that's you, maybe just go get them 3 weeks or 3 days of water and food that are just a little bit cheaper. And you can feel like you've done something for them as a neighbor, as a Christian neighbor. But then also, you have to put your family first. I know it's really hard to say, but you have to put your family first. If someone is not going to give you the time and the energy to think that this is important, then unfortunately you need to just give it to God and move forward with your own family. It's really hard to do that because when we think of emergency situations like North Carolina or the tornado in Iowa, those neighbors, those people were in for a rude awakening. They could have splurged $20 a month, $40 a month. Heck, if your budget's larger, $100 or $1,000 a month to purchase extra food for their family, and they didn't. And they were at the sake of FEMA, which did not provide anything for those people.
I have a quick question. It seems like you have a lot of knowledge with the freeze dryer.
Yes.
Is there a way to get some ideas from you, either on Instagram or message you? We've done a few things, but there's so much I know that can be done. How can we get some ideas from you? What's the best way?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. I try to upload a freeze-dried video every week on Instagram. I really love them. I work close with Harvest Right. They're a really great partner of mine. They put a really great quality product out there, and I think it is absolutely key to have it. With layers, like we talked about, the 3-layer system in your preps, you also need to consider not everything needs to be canned good. Not everything needs to be home canned. Not everything needs to be dehydrated, and not everything needs to be freeze-dried. If you run into emergency where you actually need to leave your home, you need to grab the quickest foods, the lightest foods, chuck them in your car, your belongings, the kids, and get the hell out of there. So freeze-dried food is one of those. You grab your water, you grab your totes of freeze-dried foods. For me personally, there are a couple meals that I freeze-dry as a whole, but there are a lot of foods that I freeze-dry just singular because I love to cook and I know how to cook and I practice cooking my freeze-dried food. So I like to just freeze-dry onions, chop them up, give them a good freeze-dry. You can even caramelize the dang onions first and then freeze-dry them so they're real good. And then you can do your carrots, your celery, whatever. And freeze-dried chicken is probably the best instant food. I make my husband freeze-dried meals in a jar, which actually go in his Bugout bag. And all he has to do is pour hot water and he's got instant mac and cheese or instant chicken noodle soup, or his favorite is that Oriental soup that I make. So yes, Instagram would be that. I apparently need to get an X account. I'm so sorry, but I just have to get that. So I will try to do that. So maybe look out and find me there. But yes, you can email me contact@prairiemountainhomestead.com, and I'll send you some things. Yeah. Thank you so much.
I have a comment and a question. I know we talked about Stop the Bleed and other resources in our area because she's just a little bit outside of here. I don't work for them, but Krav Maga, which is right off of Chendon and Eagle Road, they do a lot of classes. You don't have to be a member of Krav Maga to do them, but they do the Stop the Bleed. They do the the handgun classes, women's self-defense, and they do them pretty frequently. There's a women's self-defense class this Saturday. Anybody can do it. So anyway, that's my little plug for a local resource as far as like how we can be prepared physically and all those things.
Thank you.
But my question is,
Yes.
because you have a child that's roughly the same age as our youngest, how much of this information do you share with her? The details of what could come, how dangerous life could get, all those things.
That's a really great question. How much do I share with my children? So, I'm just one of those conspiracy theory parents. She learns a lot from me and my mindset. We also homeschool because I think that is the best sense of education that a child can have is within the home, with real adults that she is going to soon be in real society with. So I think to answer the question, you'll know your kid better than me, obviously. If they're pretty sensitive, you're going to be playing games. You're going to say, we're going to use this ladder outside your bedroom, and we're going to see who can get out the bedroom the safest and the quickest. And then if it happened to catch on fire, you can look that child in the eye and say, remember when we played that game? You're going to do it great because you won every time you won. Now I need you to get down so I can get down. That's what you need to be doing. Children are so resilient, but we can damage them, and you have to be very careful with that. I would start with 911. If mom is home and they're choking, does your child know how to call 911 and save your life? No, I'm assuming. When they call 911, what is their first thing that they're doing? They're saying the address, not, hi, I'm Caitlin. My mommy is choking. No. You call, the lady will answer or the man will answer. What is your address? I'm sorry, but the time is now. We have to prepare our children for things like this. How many times have those cool news stations gone on and they're like, yes, my child saved my life. You want to know what they did, but they didn't share on the news station? Is that mom drilled into their child what to say when the operator answered the phone? You say the address first. I need a bus. What does the bus mean? Is it a yellow bus or an ambulance bus? We need to educate our children on these things. My child wakes up and does chores. She likes to cook her own bread. She likes to bake her own treats. She does chicken chores. She does all the things. She butchers with us. Kids love to do these kinds of things. If you've got boys, are you kidding me? Go have them start a fire. Who can cook food that mommy likes better? Go have them do this. Can you boil water? Who can boil water faster? Okay, great. So how long did we learn how water boils? How those are fun things. Those are homeschool things. Those are actual things that they might want to learn. And who knows, they might adapt to bushcrafting or something like that. And who knows, your kid might actually like to bake bread or anything like that. So yes, I think involving your children, especially in the emergency prepared things, giving them a role. You'll be so pleasantly surprised on what child wants to have what role, and then allowing them to grow on it. I know we are always just, clock is ticking, election is coming, but let's just pretend that it's not and get things in order and have our children help with us as much as they can. And I mean, my daughter, I will just tell you, she's young, but she has come up with some pretty innovative ideas. And I'm like, why didn't I think of that? Because our brain is worried Wanda. We're constantly like this. We've got like 18 internet tabs open and they're all buffering, okay? That is an adult all the time. But kids are so centered. They're focused on one thing. They go from A to B just so that they can play later outside or do their frickin' video game or whatever the heck kids are into these days. But that's what they are. And sometimes they can look at something and where we psychoanalyze or we analysis paralysis, they go, why don't we just do this? That's a really great idea. I'm so glad I involved you in this. And you know what? That gives them some pride. That gives them a lot of pride to be involved in the household and to also go, hey, I helped mom with this today. That's pretty cool.
We started a group in our neighborhood called Neighbors United.
Okay.
You guys cannot, you can be the best, if you are the best prepared person in your neighborhood, nobody else is ready, you have a problem. Okay, you need to start meeting your neighbors. You need to find out how they, because you will not get through some of these things alone.
Yeah.
We think we're self-sufficient. The other one is God hit me in the head with that, with the, and love your neighbor as yourself. That's where that came from. And if you want to know how bad things can get, look for an article called "When the Music Stops."
Yes, that's a good one. Thank you for adding that. The preparedness level is very self-absorbed, but it's because, again, I talk about it in here just briefly when it comes to eroding the food system, but they also eroded the community dependence. One person on the block had the milk cow, the other one grew the grain, and the other one slaughtered the chickens. No one does that anymore. And so you're absolutely correct, sir. We have to get back to what we can do for other people and what they can do for us. Not in a selfish point, but if I need something like electricity done or something, how can I barter with some chickens of mine so we can get that done? And then, just moving from there. I understand if you're the only person that is prepared, you will have a problem. And that's where home defense comes in. That's where your fences, your strike plates, your Burnal Launcher, that's when those are going to come into play, because we have to prep for our family and have our community. But I've got a retired couple next to me, and they let us lease our land. We lease their land from them so that we can grow more livestock. And they think we're crazy. They love it. They love watching us, but they think we're crazy. And it's going to come to a point in time where I go, am I going to let them starve, or am I going to give some of my goods that I've traded in exchange for them if something crazy goes down? I totally get that.
In suburban areas, what is the best way to deal with garbage? Burning in tight neighborhoods could be challenging.
I'd love a scenario, just because there's going to be different ways to deal with that. Your garbage and your sanitation are going to be one of those things. If you're in suburbia, husbands, this is your job, because your guys are going to be going out at night, dropping off the poop or the bags of garbage. That's your job. You're not going to be sending your wife out there. If you are, bulk up. But what I'm going to need you guys to do is figure out, you guys are going to need to figure out where your drop location is going to be and how far distance is that. I hate to say it, but you're going to be littering. You're going to be taking those bags of feces, you're going to be taking the bags of garbage, and you're going to be taking them to the nearest wherever. The big garbage cans. Garbage and going to the bathroom were the huge things. If you guys want to learn a little bit more, there's so much on YouTube. Just go up and look up Hurricane Helene, travel, blah, blah, blah. There was a couple who were literally driving back and forth from town to town. That hotel wouldn't take them. That hotel wouldn't take them. They had so much garbage in their car because they're traveling, and they were pooping literally outside Denny's. They were pooping in the trees, because the thing is when there's no electricity and there's no running water, the hotels couldn't take them in because you can't flush the damn toilet. Okay, so people were pooping in the bathtubs in the hotels, and there was garbage, yes, everywhere. So you need to figure out, if I'm in suburbia, I got track home after track home all over me, but there's a park over there. I'm going to be taking the poop and the garbage out at midnight every night, so that we're not attracting squirrels, we're not attracting the rodents, we're not attracting a smell, and we have a clean, sanitized area. It sucks to say it, but you have to figure out where that's going to be.
One question, one comment. So here in Idaho, and especially in Treasure Valley, we're using a lot of irrigation water that comes from irrigation systems. How do you feel about it to water our personal gardens that we do? Because I know it's irrigation water coming from fields. Also the rain, it's not very clean rain, as everybody know, with all the stripes in the sky. And how's it affecting our so-called organic growth?
Man, that is a great question. Thank you. As a home gardener who takes toxins very seriously, are you talking about off-grid issue, or are you just talking in general?
Actually, gardening in a house, at home. Like
gardening at home.
Our backyards. We
Just
don't live in a rural
normal,
area.
in a beautiful,
Yes.
just, tomorrow situation, not off-grid, crazy scenario. I would get a hose filter. If you've got a pump on the bottom of your irrigation, I would get a filter. There's only so much you can do. Again, you have to focus on good, better, best and figure out what is available to you. If it's only good right now and you want to get better, then just do what you can with what you have right now and move on to something next in the future. There are pumps. Rockwell, the big storage tank company, they have hose filters. So you can put that on the end of your filter, on the end of your hose, and you can water your plants with that. Yeah, I mean, irrigation is gross just because the farmers are doing fun things. But the water is equally as gross because the plant from the payette is just, they're doing weird stuff with the water. I would honestly just get a filter for it. And if you have a well, use your well water. Yeah.
And follow up on the tanks for everybody, tanks and water tanks and gas tanks, canisters. There's a company, Poly Farm LLC in Caldwell. They actually have all of that. And I personally purchased 100-gallon water tank.
Spell it for me?
Poly, P-O-L-Y Farm.
And that's in Caldwell?
Yes. The address is actually 1423 East Chicago Street in Caldwell. And they're 5-gallon gas tanks. They're like $12, I think, or $15.
Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much for adding that. Thank you.
What about power outages and extra freezers, et cetera? It seems like we can't keep food for very long. Would solar generator be better? What kind? How many panels? I know we asked this, but what are the main things to consider for generators and what to focus on using them for? I know you could probably do a whole 1-hour thing just on this. So maybe the best explanation of how they can follow or whatever and learn more about that.
So Fort Patriots has a lot of solar generators, but Costco actually has the best price on gas generators. I would go get one from Costco. For your freezers, you're gonna need the ones from Costco. There are some that are pretty expensive from Fort Patriots that you can run on your freezers. I personally don't have $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 for a generator for my freezers. Okay, that's where again your layers are going to come in hand. If you've got a bunch of meat in your freezers, learn how to can that. You can do that real quick. You do need a pressure canner, not a water bath canner, and that information is in here in the guide. So do that. Put some food on your shelf. You can leave some in your freezer. Creating those layers will give you an abundance when something funky happens. Now, solar generators are getting really snazzy and they can have the workhorse to power something like a couple freezers or things like that. But in the chance of like actually keeping them frozen for a really long time, you're going to need a gas generator, and then you're also going to need a lot of gas. You can get your house converted, talk to a great electrician, see if they can get that done for you and how much it'll be. It might be something that's worth it for you to get your house converted over to a solar generator. But the thing is that solar generators, the panels create EMFs, and I don't know like how you feel about nuking yourself and your family, but like you need to have a nice buffer of where that's going to go. And a lot of times people don't have their freezers located so you need to put your freezers like maybe in your garage so that you can put the extension cords out a window so that you can put the generators out. Okay, if your garage is on the north side, then you need to move them to the south side of your house so that you can put a solar generator looking at the sun and put an extension cord outside. Those are just they're things that you have to think about all the time. And once you have that system set up, when there's an issue, you guys know what to do. So yeah, generators is an entire talk.
Communist countries and countries that have lived through war and famine and what have you, one of the number one things is a sense of community. So it's very important to develop a network of people ahead of time. But one other thing, an overlooked survival food is pemmican that
Yes.
the Indians use. So.
Yeah, pemmican is, or I don't know if I'm saying it correctly, but it's basically a lard and meat granola bar kind of thing. That will give you your essential fatty acids, your fats, that will give you your protein. And that's something that a lot of people survived off of during the Great Depression and World War II. It's something very easy to make. You do need a dehydrator. But the amount of fat, you have to really make sure that that meat is cooked properly. So I would really do your research, look up some YouTube videos on people who know what they're talking about when it comes to making pemmican. Is that, again, I don't know if I'm saying that correctly, but yeah.
Okay, last question. This is a traditional question here at Old State Saloon for the presenters that come here. And you're going to look right at this camera right here. And we're going to pretend that every single person in our country is going to listen to you for the next 60 seconds, knowing everything that you know and all the wisdom that you have that you would like to tell them if you only have 60 seconds.
It's going to be a little counterintuitive to what I've just shared, but going towards the election, I'm going to be personally voting for the policies, not the person. I am going to vote for someone who is going to save the most lives. And your homestead can't save you. Your food supply can't save you. You have to have your oil full. And just wait on the Lord. I don't know.
Awesome. Put your faith and trust in Christ.